Kia ora everyone, my name's Zach, I love rugby, welcome back to Hakatime Rugby. Guys, we are getting to the business end, and it's very clear that in the pool of death, Pool B, that the situation, the results, they are super tight and all options are on the table. What I wanted to do in this video is explain a little bit about how the tiebreaker works in the event that these three teams, Scotland, Ireland, and South Africa, are all tied on 15 points. Then it's really important to understand the rules and how they will play out. One thing I can tell you for sure is that there is a situation where South Africa can miss out on the quarterfinals depending on the results of that game between Scotland and Ireland. First thing I want to touch on is the results over the weekend. A couple of huge results in the context of the tiebreaker. Scotland put on 84 points, a really great result. And I've just highlighted here that it significantly increases their points difference. And that is one of the tiebreaker criteria that we'll get to. South Africa had a great win this morning over Tonga. You know, a really game opponent, I thought, and did well to score 4 points. Well, I should say 4 tries, more than 4 tries, securing that bonus point, and more importantly, putting themselves on, a prime position to potentially qualify. But those are the two relevant points from both of these games. Both teams were able to secure the bonus point, and both teams significantly increased their points difference. Now, before we get into the table, I just want to run through the tiebreaker criteria so that everyone understands. There are two main criteria here that we'll focus on. The rest of them won't be required in the event of a tiebreaker. It would be really unusual that both teams finish on points difference. But the first criteria is that head-to-head result. So it is based on who has beaten who. Now, if Scotland does get up, right, you're in a situation where all three teams have beaten each other. Ireland beat the Springboks beat Scotland, and Scotland potentially beating Ireland. So that criteria is going to be important as we get to the next set. And the other deciding factor will be points difference. So we'll get to the table in a little bit. You'll see exactly how the points difference stacks, particularly with those results over the weekend. And there is one really, really important point here that I've highlighted at the bottom, which I think a lot of people are missing at the moment. And it is that the tiebreaker criteria firstly is to determine who is the top qualifier. So in the event that all three teams are tied, we'll run through this criteria to determine who is the top qualifier. And then it is a tiebreaker situation again for the second qualifier. It's a really important but subtle difference that I think a lot of people are missing. I'll show you what it all means in just a second. For now, let's look at the table. So as I mentioned, significant increase to points difference there. Right now, Ireland's sitting at top with 122 points in terms of their points difference. South Africa, 15 points. For most other pools, that is a guaranteed entry into the quarterfinal. In this one, it's a little bit closer. Ireland currently on 14 points and Scotland on 10 points. So that's how it currently shapes out. That 84-point victory for Scotland, really, really important in the context of their points differential. You can see currently at plus 97. But the Springboks and South Africa have both done plenty to really boost their points difference. So very close finish. If we get into the scenarios for the final game, and the final game being Scotland versus Ireland is the one that we're really going to look at here and target, then there are a number of scenarios that can play out here. And just remember the criteria that we outlined for the tiebreaker as we go through this. The first option is an Ireland win. So short and sweet, Ireland winning means they go through as the top qualifier. South Africa would go through as the second qualifier. Irrespective of bonus points for either Ireland or Scotland in terms of losing bonus points, will not matter. That will be the ultimate order of this pool. And I think this is the result that most people are predicting, that Ireland should be too strong in that final game. They're likely going to play their best team because they are at risk if results don't go their way. So I'm expecting they'll play their best team. And I think that is the favoured option, albeit the Scots look really good at the moment. So there are options where they could win. So if we just look at that scenario, Scotland win without a bonus point. Now, in that situation, it's really going to come down to how Ireland finish the game, whether or not they get a bonus point, 1 bonus point, or 2 losing bonus points. You can see here, Scotland without a bonus point puts them on 14. In any situation where Ireland gets, a losing bonus point or 2 bonus points in that losing match, they would go through and qualify. And going back to the criteria, on 15 points, they would be even with South Africa. So therefore 15, Ireland and South Africa go through. In the event they get 16, they go through, obviously. In the event they get 14, Scotland will go through. So if Scotland's able to win and deny a bonus point to Ireland, then Scotland will go through on the basis of the tiebreaker criteria, firstly, which is head-to-head. Now, let's move on. Scenario 3, Scotland wins with a bonus point, and Ireland no bonus point or 2 bonus points. This is where it starts to get complicated, because scenario 3 is that they all finish on 15, which we'll get to. But in this situation, right, obviously, if Ireland fails to secure a bonus point, they'll be out of the tournament. If Ireland secure 2 bonus points, then Scotland will be out of the tournament. And that is because 2 teams will be on 15 points in this situation. And obviously the first criteria is head-to-head, in which case South Africa have beaten Scotland in the past, and South Africa will go through as the qualifier in that instance. So that is the permutations there. The final option here, which is a really out there scenario, but there is the potential that South Africa gets knocked out. And this is that only option. It is that Scotland score 21 points, or sorry, I should say Scotland win by 21 points or more to significantly boost their points difference. I've just updated what that would look like in terms of the points difference. So Scotland would then move to plus 118, Ireland would move to plus 101, and South Africa would lead to plus 117. So understand this little nuance, this little subtlety. The first criteria that we're trying to determine is who is the top qualifier, right? So in that instance, all teams are on 15 points. So the points do not decide it. The next instance is head-to-head. All teams have beaten each other, right? In this example, Scotland will have beaten Ireland. Ireland have beaten South Africa. South Africa have beaten Scotland. So we need to move to the next criteria. And the next criteria is points difference. As you can see here, the points differential will make Scotland the top qualifier. The subtlety now is that with Scotland's the top qualifier, the tiebreaker is then criteria is applied then to Ireland and South Africa again. And the first criteria that is applied is head-to-head, right? So in that instance, Ireland will go ahead of South Africa and will qualify, and South Africa will be out of the World Cup. Now that is, it's an out there scenario, and I can tell you the reality of this situation would mean that Scotland need to win by somewhere around 50 points, right? They need to score 50 points on Ireland, and Ireland would need to get a 4-try bonus point. So the likelihood of Scotland scoring 50 points on Ireland, that's pretty low. The likelihood of Scotland scoring 50 points, let's say, and Ireland securing 4 tries, that's pretty low as well. So I think that this is a really out there situation, a very unlikely situation. So much so that I am willing to say that South Africa go through and qualify, right? Because I just do not see this situation play out. I can definitely see a situation where Scotland win close. Ireland come close as well with bonus points. I can see a lot of those previous scenarios that we saw playing out, but this one in particular, Scotland probably putting 50 points on Ireland, winning by more than 21 points, while Ireland secure a losing bonus point with 4 tries, very unlikely. Okay, guys, I covered a lot of detail there. I just wanted to outline the situation because I have seen on social media just a lot of confusion around how the head-to-head tiebreaker criteria is applied. I hope that makes it clear to you guys. But comment down below if you've got any comments on whether or not this scenario is likely, and hit like on the video as well if you like the video. A lot of big games coming up in this last week, guys. This is the biggest of them all with Ireland and Scotland. It has massive ramifications for the qualifications from Pool B, obviously, and there are, in theory, all results are on the table. So I hope you enjoy the game, guys. Enjoy the remaining pool games, and we will see you in the quarterfinals.